Greetings. How you doing? Get right into this. This is my first of the how-to videos. This one's going to be about TTMing. TTMing, I just ramble on for until hopefully it's under 20 minutes. But I'm going to try to give you broad strokes of TTMing. I'm not by any means an expert. I've been doing it 20, 30 years now. Um, I started basically right after I got married, and I think I discovered a magazine at first. It was back when there was lots of bookstores and they had magazines, like a ton of them. And this magazine talked about autograph collecting and included like a page or 2 pages of addresses each month. Excuse me. Um, of those pages, those were like probably 20, 30 per page, so maybe 60 autographs. Well, I started writing to them and I started getting successes. That's back when you could just send a letter, um, and they send you back an autograph picture. I got a lot of celebrities back then through that. Um, Bob Newhart. Oh man, my mind's gone blank. Tully Savalas. Anyway, a lot of celebrities that would actually send you back pictures, signed pictures. Then I even sent one. I'll never remember. I'll never forget. Kristen Alfonso, if you are familiar with her, she was an actress or still is. But she basically is Days of Our Lives. She's known as Hope on Days of Our Lives. And I wrote her a letter, and in the letter I offered to start a fan club for her because I thought that would be so cool, running a fan club for a star. Like, she sent me back a nice handwritten letter note that said, "Sorry, I have a fan club. Here's the information, but I appreciate your thoughts, and here's an autograph picture." I was over the moon. This was the first reply I had gotten from a star, and I thought it was a great thing. So anyway, I went on for several years. Then my first when my first daughter was born, I started collecting, saying that they were for her, which they were. I got a ton of big birds upstairs and all sorts of little stupid ones, so silly ones. I shouldn't say stupid. Um, but then I started with famous women. So there's autographs dedicated to her from Madeleine Albright, uh, the Shirley Muldowney, Janet Guthrie, because I was always been racing. Boy, and there's all sorts. But I started a notebook for her. Then I started 2 more notebooks for my other daughters, which of course none of them aren't sitting in them right now. So my oldest daughters agreed to take my collection when I die. So, but anyway, um, there's several. Okay, I'm going to get back to that. There's several types of autographs. There's in person, which you get to at a stage door, concert, pay at a con. There is through the mail. Star Tiger calls it, pretty sure it's authentic or something. They say, but that's obviously mail away and get back autograph back. There is through the mail that not authentic, which you can vouch it's a auto pen. Auto pens are. I wish I have examples, but I don't. Next, somebody you watch my videos will see me, or I'll say it's auto pen, or I'll say it's uh, possibly sectorial. But auto pens are a machine, basically. A lot of politicians use auto pen, and it basically does the autograph. The easiest way is if you get doubles of the autograph, and you look at them side by side. If they're exactly the same, they're auto pen, because there is no way anybody signs exactly the same. Sign your name 10 times, look at it, it's not going to be exactly the same. You either might start or stop it wrong in a different place, or you might work. There's all sorts of little intricacies in differences between the signatures. Um, Another way to tell auto pen is, or preprint. Preprint's another one where they sign one photo and they make 18 million copies. Preprints are a little easier to tell because you can hold them up to the light. Just what like move your paper with some light reflecting off it. You can see if the same reflections on the signature and on the photo exactly the same. Exactly the same. You can tell. Another way to look at way signatures are is look where the crosses are. Like, you put a cross a T or two letters come together or something. Look at where the inks meet. If the inks look thicker, then chances are it's authentic, or at least authentic or a real signature, not an auto pen. But if they blend, they're like the same. You look at the brightness of the ink, and it's the same on where the person's writing a single line and where it crossed. That's auto pen because there's no marks. You can't see any marks with the pen where it crosses. Secretarial, that's a big debate. I'm a believer you could never tell a secretarial because A, you don't see the secretary signing it. B, B, you didn't see anything of the copy of the signature. Some stars do secretarial, and they have people that sign their name better than they do. Great example was Phil Jackson about a year or two ago. He said in an interview that he has his grandkids do his autographs for him. He says there's so many come in, he doesn't have time to do them, so he does some, grandkids do some. I've never seen a comparison side by side, but even if you do have two different signatures, you don't know which one's real, which one's fake. You look at the in person, but the in persons are usually just scribble, so it's hard to tell. And then there's the last category is no return, basically. Do return sender. That could be return sender by the person who lives there now. It says such as no longer lives here. Could be by an agent. We don't represent such. Or the good old post office, as I call it on Star Tiger. Those used to know me on Star Tiger. I call it the yellow sticker of doom, because that's usually the return to sender, address unknown, or this move no forwarding, stuff like that. Addresses. Where do you get addresses? There's several places. Four different sites online. You can look them up. There's fanbiz.com or fanmailbiz. Maybe I never use that one, so I don't know. It's if you put in a search something similar, it will probably pop up. It's a totally free site. A lot of people don't like it because a lot of people say there are secretarials on there or preprints. Spank Us. I think it's Spank Us Productions, Jim Carrey's company, known for sending production preprints or secretarials. Almost nothing comes out of there is authentic. If it goes to I can't remember the name of the company, but again, everything from them comes preprint. Some big celebrities that belong to it are The Rock. I see a bunch of them in my head, but I forget who they are. But there's certain celebrities you see, if it goes to that company, you're not going to get anything authentic. But anyway, there's fanbiz.com. There is a sports card. Some card. I wish I would have done research on this. Anyway, there's a green and orange, two different companies. One's Sports Card Forum, which I think is the orange company. That is free to use. It's mainly sports. It basically is sports. So if you want to collect something non-sport, you're gonna have to look for a different service. Some of them have a little non-sport stuff in them, but again, it may be real old because nobody uses it. It may be, 3-year-old address that doesn't work anymore. Sports Card Trader is the other one. I believe that one is the green one. And you see it when you look at those sites, that their sites are totally a green hue or orange hue. Sports Card Traders, again, mainly sports. It does charge a subscription. I believe it's either $5 a month or $45 a year, something like that. I forget the rates. You're going to have to look up because they may have changed anyway since I've made this video. I used to have a collection of Sports Card Trader, or Sport, whatever it's called, and I found I used it out of 2 years. I probably used it twice, so I decided to let it go. The one I do use, that you see all my returns from, is Star Tiger. Star Tiger is most expensive one, obviously. It's 45 or 65 a year. I got an auto pay, so I haven't looked in a few years. I just know in November I get a charge, and it's in Germany. So I just don't ignore it. Just go ahead, take my money. But Star Tiger is a great one in my opinion. It covers everything: celebrities, military, sports. The only caveat to Star Tiger, what I say is the sports is a little lacking. Some of the addresses I look and they're about the same as the others. But so sports, I try to look, I try them, but I don't. I might refer back to Sports Card Forum because that's run by. I mean, well, actually, they're both Star Tiger and Sports Card Forum, and the other one. You put in an address if you find a good address, and I'll talk more about finding addresses in a few minutes. But anyway, Star Tiger, I'll talk a little bit about that. It's you have your main screen, welcome screen, whatever. Down the left side, you have a list of daily updates. The daily updates may be new address, success someone's had, failure someone's had, or a death, or return sender. Failure, same thing. You open up a celebrity, it'll have its name, it'll have what's he known for, maybe some film productions he's been in, or teams he's played for, whatever. Usually has a birthday on, which is helpful, as I'll tell you. Then you go on and they have the address. The current one will be at the top. They have the list of, either current, they might have a list of, they might have multiple addresses for the same person because they all succeeded or are still out there. And then they'll go into past addresses or closed addresses. And so those will be failed addresses. So if you find an address for someone, you look it up on there, and you see it's on the list of failed addresses, so you know it's no good. I've found, you do this, you collect. Anyway, the addresses will have the breakdowns too. They'll have, 20 people have tried this address. 2 have succeeded. So you're like, okay, and then you can click on the 2 successes list for the celebrity and see it might be there might be if you're looking at the bold picture of all the returns, then you see the 2 might be just in person. If you look at the address, I don't know what to call it, quantity survey, it might list, you look at them when they were sent, if they've been gone 1,000 days, chances are you're not getting one. But every celebrity has these freak ones, like there'll be no returns for 1,000 days, and then, you see no one. 1,000 days, and then there's 2, they got them back. So you wonder what happened there. Anyway, Star Tiger will list the death of a celebrity. You have to put a link of where you found it so they can research it. The one nice thing I like about Star Tiger, when you have a do not failure, You put it in there, and usually within a week, Star Tiger will have a new address for you. Now, maybe an address you're an agent or a lawyer or a tax person or something, or the big celebrities. So you may look at that and go, don't want to try it. But then again, at least they get you back, and they email you when they do. When you're a person who you didn't reply, they'll send you an email once they find something. Say, go check the site. We found contact information for such. So that's pretty cool. Another cool thing is it's also member driven. So if you find a new address, you can list it there. They have a place to list it. They ask where you got it, because they don't want to put something in there that they don't know what's authentic. And so once they verify it, then as in it's a real address, they'll write to the person and wait for the response. But they put anything, then they'll post it, and the next day usually next day or 2 days later you see it in the list of new updates. All right, addresses. I'll stay on the address tangent. Addresses, you can get them lots of places. It depends on who you're researching. Celebrities, you're going to have a hard time finding their real address. But, I'll look up things and I'll get an address which I think is their real address. Let's take a recent example. Anthony Mackie. Anthony Mackie, probably this year ago or something, he had his agent listed and something else listed, but no responses. So I thought, well, I'm going to go looking. So I spent a night researching on the internet, read different articles about him. And the one theme I kept seeing was he is invested in New Orleans, revitalization. So I went to property records, and I found a property which he's listed as owner, or his company. So I was like, okay, let's try this, because his parents are from New Orleans. So I researched the address, got the address, sent him a request via that address. Well, it didn't turn out, but at least I did the research. I found the address. Another example is you might want to look at things when you find an address, like you can. There's for example is White Pages. There's a million of those sites out there. Most of them are pay sites. The one I use, and this is going to give you a secret, is anywho.com. ANYWHO.com. You put in the person's name, it'll tell you all the people that have that name or similar names and their addresses. If you want their phone number, etc., you got to pay. But the addresses they do list. So then what I do is look at the age of the celebrity I'm researching, match the age, because they'll put the age also. So match the age. Then when you get that done, Anthony Mackie, I was still on his researching. I looked up his parents, because Wikipedia or somewhere on the internet, I found his parents' ages. So I looked up his parents. Didn't see anything for the guy, the father. Didn't see. No, I take it back. I didn't see anything for the mother. The father I found, I think. I took. There's 3 or 4 about the same age, because Star Tiger might be off by a year or 2, depends on who put it in, or just don't know when his birthday falls, because these sites update the ages, but they don't know when they update. If they're manual, if they're right on the date, whatever. So anyway, I looked at the 2 addresses. I went to Google Earth, looked at the pictures of them. One was a little shack in poor part of New Orleans. So I said, that's probably not him anymore, if it ever was. Because you figure Anthony Mackie's either bought them a house or, they've upgraded somehow. Even if they had their original family home, as a lot of ball players do, wouldn't be, they wouldn't still be living there. So I rolled those addresses out. Um, Other places to get addresses, voter registration. You can look for them at a workplace. A couple football players I saw became real estate agents, so I found their real estate office, sent to them, and two I can think of Georgia Bulldogs have had success with because they were there. Uh, One person, I think it's B.J. Armstrong of the Bulls. He works for a company that does, I think, solar panels. But he sent me his business card back with the cards because he's in the Chicago area. He's like, give me a call. Give you a good discount or something like that. So I found that kind of funny. Um, you know, in places where they work, if you're looking at someone who's retired or whatever, they they might be mentioned in an article somewhere, especially retired athletes. Such is selling cars now, or such is doing this. So you can give them that way. Let's see what else. Property owners, voter rolls. Just Google their name, see what comes up. You know, I found people. There's another website I have it marked, but there's one that charities and foundations and that sort of thing, and it lists who the charity is and who's involved in it. I've gotten a lot of sports celebrities through there. I've gotten ones that I know are people are associated with him. There's a basketball player. I found his charity, sent off a request to that, but they got back with a letter saying, sorry, he does not sign through us. You can go to here. I was trying to avoid paying for his signature. So, I'm trying to think odd ones I've gotten back. I know I probably have, but I don't remember who. Another good thing is husband and wives. If you know someone's married to someone, ask if you're writing a husband, you send him much stuff, get a joint picture and send it to him also and say, hey, can you ask your wife to sign this also? I've had that work. Vince Gill and Amy Grant have gotten together. Sam Elliott and his wife, I can't remember her name now. Mike Farrell's another one. He's married to another actress. Sorry, my names are going there. Stroke brain setting in. But that's an idea. Let's see. I've covered addresses, covered the sites. Ethics or courtesy or whatever. I've seen all sorts. Let's take a little side trip here. If you're interested in autograph collecting, there is a million sites on Facebook. A lot of people have started their own sites, like pace groups. I should say groups. A lot of people start their own groups because they like the rules of whatever group. There's one gentleman, Michael Pierce. I think it's Michael Pierce. He runs a bunch of sites, but he runs for good reason. He has them separate. He's one for playbills. He has one for I can't think of his sites right now, but each one has a different reason for being. Some groups will be just to show off your returns, which is what I like to do. I like to show off them. Some groups require if you post in a group, you have to post the address you got it from. Well, I don't post a lot of addresses because I pay for Star Tiger. I mean, no offense, but you start hanging it out, and what's sense paying for it? Because someone gets it, he shares it with his buddy, and then the autographs. Why should I get it? Or if I did my own research and found it, why should I share that with someone? I share it with close people I know. If I know someone really collects Minnesota Twins, and I find an address for a Minnesota Twin that's not listed anywhere, I might message him or email him to give him the address, but nobody else. And I'll even say, please don't share this. Anyway, so Facebook groups are good. Some groups buy and sell. Some groups allow no buying and selling. Michael Pierce has one that's trading only. So He's one for index cards. That's right, one index card tray only. But anyway, back to oh shoot, I did it. I started talking about the Facebook groups, and then I got ethics and courtesy. First of all, send them a letter, obviously. But you'd be surprised how many people just put a card in an envelope, with hopefully a return envelope. Some people may not even do that, and put sign this or autograph this or something. Not even a hey, how you doing? How's your family? Blah blah blah. Nothing. Handwritten versus typed request. That's a constant battle. I mean, not battle, but discussion on which is better. A lot of people think if you're writing to an athlete to request something, you should handwrite it. A lot of people think no. There's some people like me who, after my stroke 3-4 years ago, my handwriting is still not back. So some people do that. They do different. They do typed requests, and I put it in the first paragraph. But anyway, number of autographs. I limit it to 3 for the celebrities. And when I say celebrities, I mean non-athletes. 3 is a max I'll do. Because I get Amazon photos. So, a good one I had, the project I worked on recently, was the movie Cars. The voices behind the cars. So I ordered a picture of every car that had a voice, unless it was a voice with someone that doesn't sign. And then I ordered a picture of them, some way, shape, or form. And if they were someone semi-famous, I get 2 pictures of them, personal, of one of the cars. But I sent them out, requested them all. 3 signed. Almost every one of them came back completely signed. Every once in a while, you get a celebrity or an athlete, you send him multiples, he'll only sign 1. He, she will only sign 1. And that's fine. I won't get a tangent on that yet. There are people out there, and this people annoy the heck out of me and several other collectors. They will send, literally, in fact, celebrities have posted some of these athletes have posted some on Twitter. They'll send literally an index card that says, "Hi, sign these," and then say, "Sure." They're Rob. That's it. And in the envelope will be 15 cards. And out of the 15 cards, there might be 3 of this one and 3 of that one. And so you could tell these people are doing something with them. Now, I like to give the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they are a collector, and maybe they use the extras to trade. That's possible. But most likely they're selling the extras, or all of them, on a site. And because of this, a lot of TTM is drying, especially baseball. Baseball players are really getting sick of it. And there's been lots of stories. Baseball, a lot of lists, there's a gentleman's list you can buy of sports celebrities. He's got a real good list. I bought it a couple of years. Where he's I think he's a lawyer or something. He knows the legal system. But he gets the person's address. It might be the parent's address off their first contract, and puts it out there. So, then the parents might get tired of taking and say, "Sorry, I'm not getting your signature. I'm not fulfilling these requests anymore." So especially when they come in 15 cards. A lot of players, retired players especially, have gone on to sign with Pass Pros, which is a great place if you don't mind paying for an autograph. Pass Pros, I'm not exactly sure how their system works. I think they have online. You can request a certain player, and they issue, either they give you the player's address. I don't know exactly how it works, or they give you a ticket. And you mail what you want signed to the celebrity, or some celebrities, I think you mail it to Pass Pros. Pass Pros forwards it on. But I've heard nothing but good reviews about them, and they are starting to take over the industry. Obviously, a lot of players have signed with them, and the players set their rates. So when you go there, you think it's past pros, it's player. You do have players. Let me go on to the pay for autograph. A lot of players will start charging the sign, which I don't blame them, especially older ones. They figure they didn't get a lot of pay to play the game back when they played, so they're gonna make them now autographs. So they charge anywhere from $1 a card. Sid Bream, I think it is. He asks $1 per card. Perfectly reasonable. Some players ask $5 per card. Still pretty reasonable. Then you get to 10, 15, 20, and higher. You have to look at how valuable are they to you. If you want them that bad, fine, pay it. If you're like me and you just collect a ton of autographs, and for example, I got one back, I think this year, maybe last year, who sent back the card and wanted 35 or 50, I can't remember which amount, to sign it. This guy, that was his only card. He played 10 games, I think, with one team. So, and it's not a name you remember. He was basically he sucked. So that's why he got caught and no other team picked him up. So now he thinks he's going to get rich off the autograph market. So I just can't pay that. I put that to the side. Some players will do one of two things. They'll send back your SASE with not the cards, with the note saying, an autograph is this much money, send me a check or whatever, and I'll send your cards back signed. Other players, I've had this happen where I've sent multiples. Trading cards and athletes it's possible to send more, but there I limit myself at 5 for them because they're all 5 different usually. If they're not different, then I get the additional trade, and I tell them that in the letter. If you send them multiples, they may send you back one signed, the rest unsigned. Say, if you want the rest signed, here's how much per card. Where the money goes. Some of them flat out say, this is for me because I didn't make enough playing. Others will say, send cash only. Usually they want cash only because they don't want any trail of it. So they can, at the end of the year, IRS, what do you mean charge sign cards? I didn't do that. But anyway, some will tell you it's for me. Some won't say where it's for. It just says I charge, which you assume is going to them. And then there's others that will send a different number of things. There's a football player recently, I think it's Andre Reed, I'm not positive, but he does it for his church. And he sends something back. He signs the card, but he sends back, hey, if you're really a fan of, not really, if you were a fan of mine, I would like to ask you to donate this money to such. I've had ones say to churches. I've had ones that athletes have become preachers and want their money for their church. There was Jim Cat. He used to sign autographs, and he charged, and he put the money goes towards buying baseball equipment for the little league in my hometown, and I forgot what that town was. But there's all sorts of reasons. And let me take this moment to apologize to you because I said this would be a 20-minute video, but obviously I see 34 minutes, so it's not. So, excuse me. Let's see, I think I've covered everything. I think so. The request. I've seen some people do index cards, which is fine, and some people on their index cards put a question about the player's career, about the celebrity's certain movie or whatever. And that's good. Letters are the best. Usually there's debates about how long letters should be. There's a gentleman I saw in one of the groups. He writes 2 or 3 page letters to celebrity, to the athlete. Um, I think that's too long myself, and it's handwritten, so I can't imagine. Excuse me. I feel a cough coming on. Um, I do 1 page, 3 quarters of it basically. Here's my letter, if you care. Um, did I put date? Wait. Um, Dear Mister Such Such, how are you doing? How's your family? Hope everybody survived COVID okay. I did that for a while. I changed that up. Um, then I go into please excuse this typed request, but I had a stroke 3 years ago, and unfortunately my writing is not back yet. So long letters are not an option for me. Then I go into celebrity. I might go into, hey, I really enjoyed watching you in such movie, TV, whatever. You fill in a blank. Um, if it's person I got multiples of, or had a long and good career, I might list multiple movies. And then I go into, I would be honored to add you to my autograph collection. Please sign, excuse me, please sign and enclose photos, and put them in the self-addressed stamp envelope, send back to me. And the one thing I ask is you put some tape on the outside of the envelope, because I have lost autographs in the mail, which is true. And that's basically the letter. But then I go down to, depending on who I'm doing, like White Sox, I'm a huge White Sox fan, so I did a survey a couple years ago, and I still have copies. I must have run 100 copies. So every time I do a White Sox player, the survey goes in there. But survey has like 5 questions, 4 or 5 questions, and I did when Frank Thomas was playing. So I did. One of the questions is, do you think Frank Thomas is the greatest, of the time, greatest White Sox player? But anyway, the letters, I might do 3 questions at the bottom just to have something to make it sound like I'm not just a guy collecting a million autographs. I actually do know you and I actually do care about you. The Cars one, I put, have you done any other animated voices? Or, I change them based on who I'm saying to. But I ask usually who's their favorite co-star, or athletes. Well, what's favorite stadium play, or what was your favorite role? But anyway, I think of different questions for different people, and then I put the last one is always, please share with me any other. If you want to share any other comments, here's some extra space. Use the back if you need to. But actually, the returns, I've cared almost more about the people that took time to answer those questions. Some I won't get it back. Some I get back one-word answers. But there's some that you get a long story from them. And it's quite interesting. An NFL player wrote back, said, I really wish the NFL would do something about concussions. This was a few years ago. Would really do something about concussions. I'm really tired of seeing players get hurt. And I believe that, my injury was because of the concussions after I retired. Baseball player, talking about the salaries these days. He went on a tangent about how people should not get paid, and they shouldn't get paid this much, and they got an injury, and he goes, I didn't go out an injury, I played through it. So, celebrities, I've had celebrities tell me stories about on set. Goes, such was the greatest to work with. I remember when I worked with him on this movie, and we went off and we watched some show together. Every break we got, we were in my trailer watching this. It was just really interesting. You learn what means that much to celebrity. And it's I keep those separate from my autographs, but which give me an idea for a video. Might have the best answers to these. Anyway, I think I covered it all. If not, put the questions at the bottom. I'm sorry I rambled on so long. I'm going to close with a story from my autograph collecting. John Malkovich. And some of you, I've talked about this back on my videos, but I sent him. He was in a play called True West. He's a member of Steppenwolf Theater Company. He's founder. Him, Gary Sinise, and I can't remember the name. David Mamet, I think, is the third. Three of them founded Steppenwolf in Chicago, north suburb. And I went to see this play, True West. The theater had what they called volunteer ushers. So you volunteered, you got to see the play. Well, this play was so good. This was when it first came out. In fact, Gary Sinise's biography talks about doing True West at the Apollo Theater. And I remember, because I got to know them really well. Because I think it was 42 times I ushered for it. It was in the 40s. Me and my best friend. And it is funny, we were 7th, 8th grade, I think. Maybe even younger, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, somewhere in that range. So the first time we showed up, we answered an ad. They put an ad in the free paper in town called The Reader. And it said, volunteer usher in exchange for ushering, you get to see a play. So me and him thought, well, that'd be a cool thing to do. And you had to call a number, and they just sell the date. So we did the number, the date, fine, everything. So we show up that night, at the point in time. I tell you, wear a nice shirt and nice pants. So we show up, and there's like 5 people, I think they have. And it told us to go sit in the theater and wait, and the house manager would be out and talk to us. So, okay. So we all sat down, and the house manager comes out, and I see her looking over everybody, and she looks at us, and she's like, why are these young kids in my ushering? And she goes, are you guys here, usher? And we're like, yeah. She goes, okay. And so she had to do it because they need 5 ushers. So we ushered the first time, and she found we were really good. I mean, we took it serious. We weren't just goof off kids. So we ushered 40 times for True West. Anyway, fast forward 20 years. Well, probably 20 years, yeah. And I sent him an autograph request with it. I found in a bottled box of my stuff a True West program. So I sent it off to him and said, please sign us. And this is the early days of autograph collecting. So I'm coming home from work one night, and I stopped, called home, and to see if my wife needed anything. And the days before, you had cell phones. You had pay phones. Cell phones were just starting to come out. So I call home. You need anything? No. Oh my God, you'd never guess who just called here. I don't know. Who? John Malkovich. Like, no. What's he calling for? She told me he just got my request. He wants to ask me a question. And he's going to call back at 7 o'clock. I'm like, okay, I'll be on. So, long story short, John gets on the phone. Hello, it's John Malkovich. And you can recognize that voice, of course. And he says, I do kind of remember you at True West. You're a young kid then. Yeah. And he says, that's the reason I trusted to call you. So, okay. And just 4 caller IDs and everything. So, I didn't know where he was calling from because it didn't have the pictures on the phone or anything. So he says, where'd you get my address? That's my home address. I said, oh. Well, I'd gotten it from this book that was out because that was before the days of the internet. And I bought this book for $34, a big, thick book with all these different celebrities' addresses. And I said, I got this book. And he's like, can you give me the name and the publisher of that book? And I went and got and wrote him off, and he wrote it all down. He says, I'll get my lawyer contact them. Because I don't want people coming to my house. And I said, yeah, that makes sense. And it was right after he he did the movie In the Line of Fire with Clint Eastwood. And there, before I knew the internet and all the weirdos got out on the internet, he said there's weirdos that send him stuff to his house. He said he was in his house in France at the time. And he says, I want to put an end to it. Okay, no problem. So we talked for a few minutes about Steppenwolf, about Garrison East, and then he, out of the blue, he goes, oh, by the way, did they ever solve those Brown's Chicken murders? Brown's Chicken, the old chain, I don't think it's still around. But unfortunately, they had some people come in and put the workers in the freezer and robbed the place. I can't remember if they killed them or if they died in the freezer, but whatever. They unfortunately were died. But he explained he was in town for Subwolf when it happened, so that's why he knew about it. So I was like, oh, okay, it's weird. And at the time, they had not solved it. They have since. So we talked, probably spent 20, 30 minutes on the phone with him. Nicest guy. And he said, okay, well, I'll sign your program, send it back to you. Just wanted to find out. I said, no problem, thank you. So, sure, he was true. True to his word. He sent me that, and he sent me his face shot, his promo picture, signed, also personalized me. So that was a cool thing of TTMing. So I've rattled on, whoa, 45 minutes. Wow, sorry. So if you care to tune in later date, I think I'll put these on Thursdays. I will do one on fan packing. I will do one on patches, and see if there's anything else I think I can do. But and then also coming soon, when I have a chance to record it, will be the best answers I've gotten off my questions. So I will share those with people too. Anyway, sorry. I hope this was interesting to you. If you have any other questions, put them in the comments, and I'll try to answer them best I can. Thanks. Have a good day.